Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about cell membrane, a very basic topic to be taught in the subject physiology. It can be also discussed in anatomy and biochemistry also for first MBBS students. Okay, so today we'll discuss about the structure and function of the cell membrane briefly. Okay, so as all of you might be knowing that cell is a structural functional unit of life. So this cell membrane, okay, this cell membrane basically the covering around the cell, it will separate the two liquid or the aqueous portions. So the inner portion is cytosol, it is also known as intracellular fluid, and the outer fluid, it is also known as extracellular fluid. So basically the cell membrane separates the two aqueous layers, two aqueous contents. Okay, now we will discuss the first structure and simultaneously try to know the functions also. So the most common model proposed to describe the structure of the cell membrane is fluid mosaic model. Fluid mosaic model proposed by Singer and Nicholson in the year 1972. So according to this model, cell membrane is a double layered lipid structure, that is the lipid bilayered structure in which the protein molecules are embedded. Okay, so we will try to discuss in detail about the structure of the cell membrane. Simultaneously we will discuss the functions of the individual components. Okay, basically the chemical composition of the cell consists of the three important constituents, mainly proteins, then lipids, that is the fat content, and carbohydrates. So the proteins constitute around 55 percentage, lipids around 42 percentage, and carbohydrates around 3 percentage. However, in different cells this composition varies. This is just an approximate value. Okay, now we'll discuss one by one about these chemical constituents, how they are arranged in a cell membrane. Okay, the fluid mosaic model. So first we'll discuss about the lipids. Okay, so the most common lipid which is present in the cell membrane is known as phospholipid. Okay, so if we look at the structure of a phospholipid, the molecules which are present in the phospholipid, typically they have one head and two tails. Okay, typically like this. With this blue color what I have drawn is a head and two tails. Okay, so these molecules will form one single layer. Okay, one head and two tails. Okay, with this blue color I am just trying to draw the head. On this head there are two tails. Okay, this is one single layer of phospholipid. Okay, now this head end, that is this blue color structure, it is the phosphate moiety. It is the phosphate moiety and it is polar in nature. Okay, also hydrophilic in nature. We'll discuss about that property also. Then this two tails which I am highlighting with the red color, this it is also, these are the fatty acids. So this phosphate and the fatty acid together, they form the phospholipids. Okay, so basically this phospholipid layer consists of this phosphate and the fatty acid layer. Okay, now as we have already discussed, this phospholipid layer is arranged in the form of two layers. As you can see here, this is the outer part and this is the inner layer. So we will try to draw that also to understand the basic structure of the cell membrane. So again we will draw the second layer, which is the inner layer right now what I am drawing. So again it has the head end and the tail end. Okay, head end and the tail end. So the speciality of the arrangement of the molecules of the lipids here is, you can see here like this. So this is one layer, this is one layer, and this is the inner portion of the cell, that is the intracellular fluid or cytoplasm, and this one is the outer layer of the outside this there will be extracellular fluid. Okay, now this is a continuous lipid layer. Lipid bilayer made up of phospholipid one layer and phospholipid another layer. Now as I said earlier, this phosphate moiety is hydrophilic in nature. Hydrophilic means they have an affinity towards the aqueous or the water components, whereas this fatty acid component which I have highlighted with the red color, they are hydrophobic in nature. Hydrophobic means they don't have much affinity for the water. Okay, they have affinity for the fats. So what is the basic function of this lipid bilayer is it acts as a semi-permeable or more specifically selectively permeable membrane which can transmit or it is through the diffusion only the lipid soluble substances. Examples like oxygen, carbon dioxide and all, which can dissolve through this, that only the substance can pass. Whereas aqueous substances which can dissolve in aqueous substances like or larger molecules like glucose, urea and all, they can't diffuse this through this membrane. Okay, these are hydrophobic in nature, they form a barrier through this. Okay, so only lipid soluble substances can cross through this. Okay, now this is the most commonly we are discussing the lipids. Okay, so majority of this is made up of lipids and the most important is the phospholipid. Let us discuss some more details about this lipid structure. So the phospholipid of the outer membranes and intermembranes are different. It is, there is asymmetry, they are not exactly symmetrical. So the most common phospholipid which is present in the outer layer is phosphatidylcholine. Phosphatidylcholine. Okay, and one more is sphingomyelin. That is the composition. Whereas the inner layer, the phospholipid constituents, it is made up of mainly or more commonly phosphatidylethanolamine, and phosphatidylserine. Okay, now so this phospholipids composition varies between outer and inner layer, that is there is asymmetry. Now that is the one is phospholipid. Okay, now there is one more lipid content which is present in the cell membrane, one molecules which will be present in between this two layers, in between this fatty acid layer, that is this, in between this phospholipid molecules, and that molecules it is present it is known as cholesterol. So lipids, mainly the phospholipids and also the sphingomyelins here, and the cholesterol molecules. Okay, now what is the role of this cholesterol molecule, what is the functions of this is it will help in maintaining the fluidity of the cell membrane. Now what is fluidity? Okay, the fluidity means this ability of this membrane, okay, to change its shape and movement. So that is fluidity means by the property of the fluidity, these molecules, okay, they are not stick to each other. That is, these two layers of the cell membrane, lipid bilayer, they are not stick to each other, they can move like this. Okay, they have the fluidity, okay, to adjust, they can adjust itself to adjust and move in the narrow blood vessels and all. So even the protein molecules and all can be moved. Okay, so lipid content, so cholesterol. So the more the cholesterol content, less is the fluidity of the cell membrane, and conversely, less is the cholesterol molecule, the more will be the fluidity of the cell membrane. So fluidity of the cell membrane, also temperature, increase in the temperature increases the fluidity of the cell membrane, and decrease in the cell fluidity also will affect the fluidity of the cell membrane. Okay, these fatty acids are sometimes saturated and sometimes unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, this unsaturated fatty acid, that will also affect the fluidity of the cell membrane. Okay, so we have discussed about the lipid constituents. So lipid mainly made up of phospholipid and cholesterol. Now let us discuss about the proteins which are present inside this cell membrane. Okay, proteins, second important constituent. Okay, maximum constituent is proteins, only nearly 55%. So we'll draw once again a rough diagram again of this lipid bilayer. Okay, this is the phosphate moiety, and again we have the fatty acid content. Okay, lipid bilayer. Okay, now in this lipid bilayer, in between this there are protein molecules embedded. Okay, this I am drawing one with the help of this green color. So this type of the proteins, okay, which will pass through both these membranes and also which will connect ECF and the ICF. Okay, this larger proteins, they are termed as integral proteins. So the two types of protein molecules will be there. So first is integral proteins. is termed as integral proteins, okay, which will passes throughout the membrane of this integral proteins. Now, what are the functions of this integral proteins? Okay, however, there is one more type of the protein, so they will be either present outside, okay, and either inside. So this type of proteins, they are known as peripheral proteins. Okay, so protein molecules arrangement in the cell membranes, either they can be present as an integral proteins or peripheral proteins, outside or inside, okay, loosely attached. Now, what are the functions of these integral proteins? First, we will discuss about the functions of the integral proteins. Okay, functions. So, these integral proteins can act as a channel proteins. Act as a channel protein. Now, what do you mean by this channel proteins? See, this integral protein, okay, this integral protein molecule, okay, it acts as a channel. Channel means like this. A tubular structure. Sometimes the protein acts as a channel, so through which different substances can pass inside this. Okay, as we have already discussed, this is a lipid bilayer which will allow only the lipid substances, not the aqueous substances, right? So some substances which are water soluble can pass through it, and this type of transport, it is known as carrier mediated. Okay, carrier mediated or facilitated diffusions, or even as an active transport, okay, against the concentration gradient. So channel proteins, it acts as a channel proteins. Then it will also act as the carrier protein. Sometimes it can act as a carrier proteins. So what are the carrier proteins here? So carrier proteins means sometimes what will happen is this proteins, okay, these proteins, they will have some site here, receptor site here outside, on which some ligand or some hormone or some substances will attach to this, and this is transported from the ECF to the ICF by some conformational change. Whenever some substance or ligand bind to this carrier proteins, then it will have some conformational change in it, and through that conformational change it will transport the substance into the inner side or vice versa. So this type of the transport through this integral protein are known as and these proteins are known as carrier proteins. Okay, then these carrier proteins also help and act as receptors. So many ligands like hormones and all, they will bind to this carrier protein, so they act as a receptors, and after binding with the receptor, they will have some reactions inside the cell membrane by through the second messenger or some other enzymatic reactions. So it acts as a receptor site for the functioning of various hormones and other ligands. So now it will also act as antigens. Okay, so sometimes it will combine with carbohydrate moiety, then it will form the glycoprotein, and it will act as an antigens like blood group antigens, okay, or major histocompatibility complex MHC, which are present here. The integral protein acts as that antigens too. Then finally it will also act as pumps. So some sodium potassium ATPase pumps and all which are present, so that is due to this integral proteins will act as a pump. So these are the functions of the integral proteins. Now what are the functions of this peripheral proteins? So peripheral proteins, either outside or inside, are loosely bound. Okay, they are loosely bound to this lipid bilayer, and mainly they will act as an enzymes. Okay, enzymes. Okay, some reactions can take place. Okay, like A plus B will C plus D, one reaction, and it is catalyzed, or this it is facilitated by this enzyme. So they will act as an enzymes. Okay, even this outer membrane peripheral proteins acts as a cell adhesion molecules. Okay, cell adhesion molecules. Okay, and even it will anchor this by attaching with the cytoskeleton of the cell. Okay, so this peripheral proteins have different functions. So these are about the proteins. So mainly there are two types of proteins, integral and peripheral proteins. Now coming to the third major component of the cell membrane is carbohydrates. Okay, very less amount, just around 3%. So this carbohydrates molecules, they will be present mainly on the outside, not on the inside of the cell, that is the outer layer. So majority of the time it will be binding to the protein component, then it is called as glycoproteins. Carbohydrate when combined with the protein known as glycoproteins. Sometimes this carbohydrate molecule directly bind to the lipid molecule, then they are termed as glycolipids. So two important carbohydrate moiety is glycoproteins and glycolipids. Okay, now this carbohydrate layer, after binding to the either to the protein or to the lipid, they form one layer that is known as glycocalyx. Okay, now what are the functions of this carbohydrates is it will act as a electrical charges will be present. Okay, basically it will have a negative charge, so it will repel the negative particles. So this is a polar molecule and it will have a negative charges. Okay, so glycocalyx will have an electrical charge or electrical property. Okay, so it has a negative charge, and sometimes this glycocalyx will help in attaching the functions of this glycoproteins. So it will help in attaching the neighboring cell membranes. Okay, so it will act as an attaching substances, okay, or adhesive substances, attaching the neighboring cells. Okay, so these all are the functions of the carbohydrate moiety, proteins and the lipids. Okay, so just to summarize this with the help of this diagram of the fluid mosaic model proposed by the Singer and Nicholson, basically it is made up of two layers of phospholipids. In between this phospholipid there might be cholesterol components, so lipids are mainly phospholipids and cholesterol and sphingomyelins. Then we have proteins constitute the majority, 55%. There are two types of proteins: integral proteins, these pink clusters are integral proteins, and peripheral proteins. This orange color structures, what you are seeing is the this is a cholesterol, so there are peripheral proteins also present. Okay, now apart from that there are carbohydrates which are also present either directly on the lipid, this is known as glycolipids, and these are known as glycoproteins. Okay, so please subscribe our channel Doctor's Corner and share the link with your friends. Thank you.